If your e-commerce brand is struggling right now and you feel like you've tried everything, firstly, there's a lot more that you could probably do, at least doing things the right way with the right amount of effort and the right amount of time built up. But this is something fundamental that I've learned in being in e-commerce for the last 13 years. I co-founded an e-commerce business in 2013 with my brother, and we left our corporate jobs and started from the kitchen bench, bootstrapped the thing the whole way through. It has since gone on to do multiple 7 figures per year. And I've also helped over 250 e-commerce brands grow to record revenue months as well, growing them to multiple 6 figures and 7 figures per year. Now, this is something that I typically say when someone comes to me, whether they're in my paid programs or not, just having a general conversation about their business growth, and they come to me and say, I've absolutely tried everything and I don't know what to do next. And I typically say this one thing. I say, go back to your customers and ask them about X, Y, Z. Why did you buy my product? Why didn't you buy this upsell? Why didn't you do this, and this? But the whole understanding of this concept is if you're struggling, if you have problems in your business, speak to your customers. Now, you might be in a position where you don't have many customers, you just haven't been able to get the business off the ground. That's fine. But the same concept actually applies. You need to go back to the people who are your potential customers and ask them the questions of why they did not buy, right? What was it? Was it the pricing? Was it the actual product? Was it the trust factors? Was it that my site looked like a scam? Honestly, you just have to lay it all out there, make them comfortable enough to tell you the absolute truth, because if they're lying to you or you're trying to make them feel good or they're trying to make you feel good, then you're just not going to get the value from it. And so this came up not so long ago. A community member of mine said, look, sales have dropped off. We're struggling. They had done a few things to adjust their site, brought out some products and maybe adjusted some bundles and things like that. And they, again, came to me and said they'd tried everything. And I said to them this one thing. I said, you just have to contact your customers. Understand why they've bought from you in the past. Understand why they're not buying from you now. What's changed? Ask about 3-4 questions that will get to the root cause of why you're not selling as much as you would like right now, or why you're not growing. Okay. And this person actually jumped on the phone, right? So that I'd firstly say, contact them direct. Just go straight away. People are humbled to hear from the founders of somebody that they've bought a product from. All right. So first and foremost is to call them. All right. Some people are busy. They're at work. They got kids, that sort of thing. So you may not be able to get onto all of them. Second port of call would be to text them and say, hey, it's Will from Karmic Cold Pressed Juice. And look, really appreciate you as a customer. I'd love to just ask you, a few questions if you wouldn't mind. As concise as possible, right? Make anything short, even if you can pre-fill answers and say yes, no, make them really easy for the person on the other end and get them to obviously respond. So yeah, first protocol is phone call. Secondly is going to be text. Third is going to be email, and you'll get a mixture of responses from all of those. You just have to try all three in that order. Even the follow-up process. If you don't get through via phone call, leave them a message, send a text. If you don't get through via text, send them an email, and just try and get as many responses as you possibly can. Well, this client particularly had a subset of about 50 customers, and she was able to get through about 10 of them using one of those three means. All right. So that's kind of your strike rate that you'd expect, probably 20%. Now, if you're genuine, and most people, well, all people in my community absolutely are, but if you're genuine and you just have that real gratitude with somebody that's a customer, they're going to be more than happy to help you in some capacity, to help you make your business better. But it's all about obviously them as the customer. And so at the end of that conversation, at the end of when you get the information, or even to incentivize them a little bit, you can say, look, and I'll really happily give you a $25 voucher or $50 voucher. I would say make it as generous as you possibly can to come back to our store and buy again. Right? Make it as generous as possible, because they've got to actually, spend something to go and activate that voucher. So it's just basically free money. It's a cost or acquisition. If you look at it from an ads perspective, or, in a paid referral capacity, for example, this is your cost to actually acquire them again. And they're going to give you the absolute gold, because the information they can give you, especially if there's a common thread with those 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people that gives you information, that's what is going to change the foundations of your business. That's the adaptability that you're going to put on site and your socials, that you're going to talk about through your marketing channels, through your content, through your ads, through your emails, right? You're going to use the language that they use in all of those materials because it resonates with them. Okay, this is what we call like a 10 out of 10 marketing message, where you speak like this over here, meaning your products are for this, and this is why you should buy it, this is why we're so good. That's typically what people say. And then how people receive your message, or what they understand as your message, is over here. So we need to meet them in the middle. right? We need to meet them in the middle with what our message actually is in what our product does. That's a 10 out of 10 marketing message. And that's an iterative thing. It's never set and forget. The ones that die, basically, businesses that die, never adapt to what that is. It's like, oh, the customer's just an idiot. They don't understand, or they don't, It's never the customer's fault. You must take full responsibility for yourself about why your business isn't working. The messaging and the foundational pieces are a big part of that. And so coming back to my original point of this video, if you're struggling to get market traction, it doesn't matter what stage you're at in business, because you will experience it again at some point, or if you haven't already, or if you're not going through it, once you get off the ground, that 10K month, 50K month, 100K month, that cracking that next level is basically a rinse and repeat of the same thing, right? You need to go back to your customers in any way possible. Give them as much as you possibly can, because that piece of information could be that next breakthrough. It could literally be the $1 million question. Why aren't people buying from me? Ask the customers, ask the potential customers if you don't have many customers. Ask people relevant to who would buy your product, and you'll get the best possible outcome. And it could be something really simple, all right? So I just want to allay any, fears and say, this is what the top 1% do. This is what the best of the best do. We have several clients in my program, especially my up-level mastermind, that are contacting probably 20 customers a month, right? Doing that consistently. That's 250 almost a year, and just getting information from, understanding what they like, what they don't like, what's their price point, what do they want to see next, involve them a little bit in the next process of product development. For example, they feel like they're invested in the business, and they actually understand that you're a real person. They have an affinity to you. You've taken the time out of your day to call them and thank them and give them an offer too if they help you out. And so that's what I want to really just emphasize in this. If you've ever got a problem, go and speak to your customers or potential customers. You can't be afraid of this. Yes, we're an online business, but we are still in the people business. People like to buy from people. And if you can have an opportunity to get their attention, have a conversation with them, that will build the ability for a lifetime customer right there and then. Promise you that. So I wanted to share this message with you because, as I say, I was speaking to a client about this in my program and thought it would be useful because it was extremely valuable. It's a fundamental thing that we often neglect as online business owners. We've got access to the world. We're online. We're digital. We can be faceless. But honestly, people still like to deal with people behind the brands, and especially they like to support brands that are local, that are grassroots, startups, etc., family run. So hopefully you're in that position as it is. But nonetheless, you should be speaking to your customers as often as possible. They will give you the gold. They will give you everything you need to get out of that rut and start to move forward with momentum, okay, by giving them exactly what they need and they say they need, and being able to communicate properly along that line as I showed you before, okay? So look, that's it from me. I really just wanted to share that, and hopefully that provides some insights. If you like this video, I'd love a like, love a subscribe. I'm providing videos like this all the time, learning and sharing exactly what I know with 13 years experience. Other than that, if you want to know more about what we do, you can click on the link below, check it out, book a time to chat if you feel it might be appropriate for you, interested in exploring it. But other than that, thanks for watching till the end, and I'll catch you in the next one.